Good morning, students. My name is Monica, and today we are going to start with History Chapter 6 of Class 6, that is Kingdoms, Kings, and an Early Republic. Now, in this chapter, we are going to learn about how the Asian people became rulers during that time as compared to the present day situation. In present day, we have the voting system. As I explained you in chapter 3 of civics, what is government, that people choose their own representative with the help of the elections. Now, Shankaran, he woke up to see his grandparents already go and vote. They wanted to be the first to reach the polling booth. Polling booth is the place where we vote. Why Shankaran wanted to know, were they so excited? Now Shankaran, he was very curious. He wanted to know why the grandparents were so excited. And somewhat impatiently means without patience, he asked his grandfather, and then his grandfather explained that we can choose our own rulers today. Means, as compared to the ancient time, these days we can choose our own representative. Now, in this chapter, how some men became rulers. What happened? Choosing leaders or rulers by voting is something that has become common during the last 50 years or so. How did men become rulers in the past? Some of the Rajas we read about in chapter 5 that explained you that Rajas were chosen by the Jana. Jana means the people. Underline this one, this is a Hindi word. But around 3000 years ago, we find some changes taking place in the ways in which Rajas were chosen. Apart from being chosen by the people, there is another way which we call is big sacrifice. That is, they become the rulers by performing very big sacrifices. Underline this is very important. Now, what is Ashwamedha? Ashwamedha is a horse sacrifice. Now, what is horse sacrifice? It was one of the ritual which was being performed in the ancient time. What happened in this ritual? In this ritual, a horse was let loose to wander. Wander means to move, right, John students? Wander meaning is to move. A horse was allowed or let loose to move freely, that is, from one place to another, and it was guarded by the Raja's man. Guarded by the Raja's man means there was one guardman who was holding the horse, and horse was allowed to move anywhere in any kingdom. Now what happened? If the horse wandered, means moved into the kingdom of other Rajas, right? If he is allowed to move in the kingdoms of other Rajas and they stopped it, then they had to fight. Means a battle will occur between the two kings. As we have seen in Ramayana also, you might have seen one episode where the horse of Lord Rama was being caught by Love and Kush, and they were not giving the horse back to the guardman. They said that if your king wanted the horse, he had to fight with us, only then we will return this Ashwamedha horse to him. So similarly, this was the way. If the horse is being stopped by the king, that means they were interested in the battle, and if they allowed the horse to pass, means if they are not saying anything and they are allowing the horse to pass, it means that they accepted the Raja who wanted to perform the sacrifice. Means they accepted that king, right? And they considered that this particular king is more stronger than them. These Rajas were there invited to sacrifice which was being performed by the trained priest. Then this Raja has to perform the Ashwamedha Yag also, and he was rewarded with gift by the other kings. The Raja who organized the sacrifice was recognized as being very powerful. Underline, the Raja who got the authority was being assigned as very powerful king, and all those who came bought the gift for him. The people who came over there, they bought different gifts for him. The Raja was a central figure in these rituals. He often had a special seat, a throne, or a tiger's skin. Means he got a special throne, a seat, and a tiger's skin. His charioteer is the one who is riding the horse. Like in Mahabharata, the charioteer of King Arjun was Lord Krishna, right? Who was his companion in the battle. He is acting as a companion, and he witnessed all the exploits of the king, the way the king was fighting in the war. Now, chanted the tales of his glory. He also chanted the tales of the glories of his king. his relatives, especially his wives and son, had to perform a variety of minor rituals. All minor rituals were being performed by the king's wife and the child. The other rajas were simply spectators. Spectators means the one who is watching all the scenario, all the scene, right? Who had to sit and watch the performance of the sacrifice. Underline this is very important. Priests perform the rituals including the sprinkling of sacred water on the king. Sacred water here means Ganga Jal. So, the priests, they perform the rituals including the sprinkling of the Ganga water. Sprinkling means spreading. The ordinary people, the Vesh or Vaishya. Vaishya is again the category being divided by the Asian people. We have the Vaishyas, we have the Shudras, we have the Brahmins, right? We have kings. So Vaishya is one of such categories. They also bring the gift. However, some people such as those who are regarded as Shudras, I told you right now Shudra means low caste people. These were excluded from many rituals. Excluded means they were not allowed to enter, they were not allowed to read the Vedic textbooks, they were discriminated. As we read in civics also, it's a kind of untouchability. These people were ill-treated by the other category people. Clear? Now what are Varnas? Varnas being divided into four. Again, the first one is called Brahmin. The second one we have here is rulers. Third one will be Vaishya, and fourth one we will cover the Shudras. We have many books that were composed in North India. Like we read about the books, the textbook, the religious books we are talking about here. Okay. So in all this, we will going to learn about the Vedas, that is Rig Veda, Sam Veda, Yajur Veda, Artha Veda. We had read in the earlier chapter also. I will explain you once again. These all are the Veda. These Veda composed about the ancient tales of the king, his glory, about king life. Everything is being written in such Veda, and about lords like Lord Rama, Lord Krishna. All these Vedas were written by the saint people, by the priest. Now there were different groups in the society at that time. Priests, warriors, farmers, herders, traders, craftspersons, laborers. Some priests and warriors were rich as compared to farmers and traders. Other may be herders, craftspersons, laborers, fishing folk, hunters. These all were the profession. Now people were divided into four groups, as I told you. According to them, each Varna had a different set of functions. They were divided into groups, and the group name is Varna. Varna means the division of the people according to their profession, according to their birth. First Varna was Brahmin. Brahmin were expected to study and teach the Vedas, perform the sacrifices, and receive the gift. They were allowed to enter temple, they were allowed to read the Vedas, they were allowed to perform the sacrifices, and they were allowed to receive the gift. In the second place, rulers, who were also known as Kshatriyas, they were expected to only fight battles and protecting the people, protecting the kingdom. Vaishyas, they were expected to be farmers or herders. Both Kshatriya and Vaishya could perform sacrifices. They were allowed. And Shudras were ill-treated. They were not allowed to read the Vedic textbooks. They were excluded from all the rituals of the sacrifices. That's all for today. Thank you.